We continue our conversation now with SAA's Chief Executive Officer, Vuyani Jarana. He's been in office for 30 days now, and we're getting an understanding as to what's really at the heart of SAA, how to turn this business around. So many have tried and failed, and let's chat to the new CEO and see if there is a possibility we can turn it around. Now, yesterday, before Parliament, it seemed that a lot of revelations came out in terms of the financials of the airline and how bad they actually were. And my interpretation, when I was reading reports and seeing how it was coming, it's almost as if you're commandeering a crash landing, but you're trying to avert as many casualties as possible. Is that my analogy? Because it seems like it is going down. It is going down before it goes up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the big thing with SA today is we kind of in a very difficult place in the sense that there's been a prolonged history of lack of profitability. So you've got the lenders starting to put very tight covenants around their loans. I mean, last week we worked with the lenders to get the extensions of the loan maturities to be extended until 2019. Was a big milestone because we had a fatal date of Friday last week, and we've been working with the local and domestic lenders to do this. So that's one big relief, because now we can start looking closely at the strategy, because we've got a bit of a breather in terms of the year. So year to go. So the big issue is understanding where we are, really diagnosing the causes of the problem. A lot of it is around route profitability. If the business does not generate profitability at the route level, so you can't hope to have a sustainable business. So we're busy working on route profitability, bringing a lot of commercial accountability in the business in terms of the decisions. And it all boils down to the commercial strategy. The cost structure of SAA, it's a known thing. It's quite understood by everyone that we're operating a very high cost structure, and we're going to reorganize ourselves for success. But the biggest issue is the commercial strategy, focusing on routes and route profitability and trading for success.
The domestic route is a worry, because your domestic market seems to be the one that's struggling the most, and obviously because a lot of competition is out there, but this is a big one, a 450 million rand shortfall from the struggling domestic market. How are you going to pick this up? What's going to happen? I mean, just to add to that, I mean, there are talks of merging Mango, Airlink and SAA. Is that still going ahead?
Well, SAA and Mango are part of one group. Mango is a subsidiary of SAA. So what's critical in the strategy that's going to evolve is how we structure that business to make sure that those two businesses, whilst in a competitive landscape, competing in the market, but they work as part of the bigger group in terms of the broader strategy. So in terms of overall some of the challenges, it's again about segmentation. So if you drag, the growth in terms of available seat capacity in the country is around low cost, which means people are focusing on low cost travel. I think it's a reflection of the economic scenario situation as well. So you need to understand, if you're a full service carrier, you can't be everything for everyone. You need to understand your segment. You need to understand how you build your proposition. You need to understand the issue of route profitability, how you have to fly for financial sustainability. So you can't just be obsessed with having flights full when actually the underlying economics don't add up. So those are the kind of things. It boils down to proposition, pricing, segmentation, really frequencies in the routes, and also the kind of gauge of aircraft you put in. Yeah. Because if the one route can only give me 100 passengers per flight, why should I put 150 capacity gauge on this thing? And some of the aircrafts we're having wide bodies to Cape Town. Those for 2-hour range, those aircrafts are very expensive to fly over 2 hours. So those are the kind of decisions we're going to do. Right gauge of aircraft for the right route, for the right kind of passenger traffic volumes. So it's a commercial thing. So that's what we need to do. And when I look at it, if you do the commercials right and rein on costs, underlying costs, then you should be able to get SA back on its feet.
We talk about the competition in the domestic market. Obviously, we've just seen the announcement of Airlink and SAA coming together. Is that going to impact you even further?
Look, at the end of the day, we're competing with SAA. Airlink is a franchise, it's a franchisee of SAA. we have to study this and say, what does it mean? Because SAFA is already there, it's competing, it's in the market. Do I think it's going to make things worse for us in terms of just the volumes? No, they're there. They've got a number of aircrafts. They are competing in the market. But what we are going to take a view on is what that means in terms of Airlink and the franchise relationship with SAA. So it's fresh, it's new developments in the market. We're busy studying what that means so that we can develop a clear strategy around that.
Yeah. I mean, if we look at an airline, and let's look at a successful airline in the African continent, and we take Ethiopian Airlines as an example, what are they doing right? How are they a profitable airline that is I unfortunately have never flown it, and I believe it's amazing. But what is it that they are doing right we're not doing?
The starting point is stability. Stability in leadership, focused on making sure that you preserve. I think that what the Ethiopians have done, they've really looked at their airline as a jewel, as something that represents Ethiopia's excellence and success. And if you look at the CEO there, it's many years being there. I would argue that there's been consistency at the board level. So SAA has had no consistency at the board level as well as at CEO level. So you can't execute on these things on a short-term basis as a stand-in, because you're making hard decisions that you must see through. So if you are an acting person, so you think you're going to act for 3 months, it becomes 3 months, become a year become 2 years. So the airline is in limbo. So it's all about consistency, and in both at the board and the CEO level, and of course building capacity at the executive level. There's nothing that beats experience in any industry.
Are you able to do your job without political interference? Because that has always been a problem with SAA, and we've seen many CEOs fail because they're not able to do their jobs properly. How's it been for you?
So, Leon, I've signed up for SAA. It's an honor to be the CEO of SAA, but I've signed up out of choice to join and work with government to trade the airline out of the quagmire that it finds itself in. So I have not been given any brief other than to say, go to SAA, make it commercial, make it profitable so that it can be financially self-sustainable. So far there have been no signs that I'm going to be told what route to fly. I will fly routes that are sustainable for SAA, taking into cognizance that some of the routes are going to be developmental routes in terms of market development, not political routes, and that's what we're going to be doing. So I haven't given any sense of constraints. To be honest with you, I don't know how you can constrain somebody when the airline is in ICU. Mm-hmm. So my sense is everyone wants the airline to work, and I'm going to just do that with the team.
Do you think that SAA, and it's a question that many people have raised and have said, come on, why not just privatize the airline? Does it really need to be a state-owned enterprise? Because it doesn't seem to work that way. You come from the private sector. Do you think this airline can be a profitable SOE, or do you think going into privatization is a way to go, or partly privatized?
So I think government has already made that call already with the announcements during the medium-term budget policy statement that we must find a strategic equity partner. That is an indication that in a business environment, especially if the economy is globalizing as the world economy is globalizing as it is, you need partnerships. You need to be able to find partners who are going to get operational synergies, but also help you with product development and evolution. So if you are standalone, whether it's in airline, whether it's in telco, whether it's in other industry, healthcare, so you need global experience, global linkages. So I think that's already been a recognition. So we need to find that partner who's going to work with us to make sure that we get great partnership, great alliances, but also can tap on each other's skills and innovation.
Yeah. You emphasize skills. I know I've got about 40 seconds left before the news. Poaching skills. Do you have the right skills? Are you looking for new, experienced people to come and help you?
We're looking. We're looking. We're building capacity. A lot of people are acting at SAA, so there are a lot of vacancies in critical areas of the business. Commercial, there's a lot of people acting. So we're pushing. We're hunting for skills in the aviation sector to come and help us and make sure we make this business work.
In terms of job stability, those that are at SAA, we know that the money is a big problem there. Will there be job losses going forward?
Look, Ian, where we sit today, SAA sits in a very difficult place. So there's nothing, everything is under consideration. The cost structure, the relative costs. But what I want to focus on is productivity. If I can get better productivity gains, then we're fine. But if I can't get everyone the right levels of productivity, it's important that we all understand that we're going to go through pain. What it will be will determine it with the people of SAA. So the next 2 months are going to be instructive for all of us at SAA.
Vuyani Jarana, thank you so much for talking to us. The CEO of SAA, 30 days into the job, he has been tasked with a mammoth task of bringing the airline back to healthy operations and profitability, and we do thank you for your time. Again, please, let's speak about SAA if you'd like to at Morning Live SABC. That's how you can get hold of us. The time, 7 o'clock.